People Garden. Thank you for joining us. How are you this fine day? My name is Eva Fulton, and it is my honor to serve as your hostess of the Mighty People Garden podcast. We are gathered here to grow in our relationship with ourselves, God, and others around us. Each podcast will focus on what it means to grow using the parable of the sower as our foundational framework for our discussions. Everyone can see your front yard, but only you can see your backyard. It's not about networking, it's about people gardening. So sit back and let's sow some seeds. Thank you for joining the Mighty People Garden podcast. I know it's been a while since I published a podcast, but rest assured, everything has been fine. Just been really, really busy in life. And I say busy in a way that is really purposeful. My life doesn't revolve around the podcast, but I have been busy on another endeavor with the From Pain to Purpose radio show that's with Military Broadcast. But I have also finished publishing the second version of Welcome to My People Garden, and that was published August 12th, 2025. So thank you for joining me today. I'm really excited about where life has been taking me, the different journeys I've been on. I think the last time I published my Mighty People Garden podcast was when I came back from hiking in Spain. But I've also been doing a lot more hiking lately and had some things come to mind. But before I go ahead and get started with all that, today is Monday, September 1st, the year of our Lord 2025. And, wanted to share some thoughts that I had while I was hiking this past weekend. And really it's kind of a reflection of some things that have come to mind. I want to say probably a couple of years ago, and it's a series that I'm going to do on the Mighty People Garden podcast called the E-Effect. And no, it has nothing to do with my name, even though it starts with Eva, but it has nothing to do with Eva starting with an E. But it is going to be a series of shows that are focused on words that start with E. And I'm really excited about some of the words that came to mind. I'm not going to go through all of them here in this one setting, but really I want to just focus on one word at a time. And so that's where I'm going to go ahead and get started. So as I thought about all these different words, something that came to mind was really something that I think if we're having our walk in faith and how we view life in general. I know some people call this your worldview, but just the way you look at things, and just, follow me here on this E-Effect thing. If you were trying to think of how do you live your life in the right frame of mind, then there is a certain starting point in how you do that. And is something that really, I think that has been honed in on me from the beginning with all of my hiking experience. Because if you look at, where do all roads all roads lead to Santiago is the saying. But that really is kind of in some ways how we think about life in general. And how are we, it's a how, right? Really, how are we living our life? Not so much where we're going, to a degree that is true. But follow me here. The word is Emmanuel. And I looked this up because I wanted to have some context of where we see the word Emmanuel, and apparently it's in both the Old Testament and the New Testament. In the Old Testament, it's Isaiah 7:14, Isaiah 8:8, and 8:10. And in the New Testament, go look at Matthew 1, verse 23, which I think is interesting just reading that. Matthew 1:23 is 1, 2, 3. But anyways, and what does the name mean? It means God is with us. And that's something that we think about with Jesus, and everything begins with him and in our lives. And if he's with us, then no matter where we go, then we're headed in the right direction. He's always going to be with us. But that's the how, right? It's the frame of mind that the E-Effect begins with him, if that makes sense. Because to me, it made total sense. If we understand that God is with us all the time, every time, and that's the sign of his both presence and protection, then no matter where we go, and things aren't always going to be pretty, right? Life is not always going to be pretty. You can fall on the trail just as easy as you can fall in the street. You can have something happen to you, or you can not. But he's always with us, no matter where we are. And I thought that was pretty powerful when I read that. So Isaiah 7:14, this was a part of prophecy that was given, and I'm reading this, y'all. I do some research, and this is just kind of a quick AI briefing of it, that this verse is part of the prophecy given to King Ahaz during a time of conflict, promising a sign that God will protect Judah. And in Isaiah 8:8, that's a continuation from Isaiah 7:14, emphasizing God's presence and power. And think about that. God's presence and power is that he's present with us every step of the way. And his power is there. A lot of it really has to do with our willingness to let him in with us. And I thought that was pretty interesting. Isaiah 8:10 it also talks of God's presence and protection, but further developing the theme introduced in the earlier verses. So it's a continuation, right? It's just a reinforcement side of things. But then Matthew 1:23 is that it's applying Isaiah 7:14 to Jesus and identifying him as God with us. So, it's that continuation, that we're not just talking about God from the Old Testament, we're talking about Jesus from the New Testament, as in one and the same, and forever he shall be. Always with us, always, always, always with us. And, I am an avid hiker. I just completed hiking the state of Maryland yesterday, and 26.3 miles in a matter of just 2 days. So we're 2.5 days. Really long way for me. I am an avid user of hiking poles. And I don't know how many times when I took steps, and I definitely felt more comfortable hiking without the poles, but still holding them. And I'm going to say that in comparison to hiking in Spain in March on the Santiago, that my use of the poles then in March was much more than what I've evolved to now. But nonetheless, the way I kind of think of poles is that this is God's way of being able to keep me from falling. And that may sound silly, but I've had many a person that said, "Oh, Eva, where's your bubble? Because you're going to get hurt again." But life is kind of like that. If we, live in constant protection, we want that bubble, but that's really what the poles are to help keep us upright and protected. But that's how I think of the poles, that God is there with us to hold us up. He's going to get us through step by step by step. But, we have this continuation that Emmanuel is with us, right? God is with us. And my hiking poles are like that. And I'm okay if I have that. I'm going to say I'm okay. I'm okay anytime, but I think it's the frame of mind that God is with me, not just a matter of when I'm walking on the Camino or walking on the Appalachian Trail, but just walking through life in general. Even if it's a figurative way of thinking about the hiking poles, because remember, even Joseph, not Joseph, what am I trying to say? Moses had his staff, that God was with him, right? That's one of those neat things, that there are a lot of things that we use today that are meant to help support us. There's a figurative means that he was using his staff to represent that God was with him. Our hiking poles are with us when we're walking through life, whether it's on the trail or normal life. But in that same way, if we start, and I'm using Emmanuel as the starting point for this E effect, is that God's always with us. And I think that that's a critical factor to consider as we go through these times in our daily lives, whether it's at our personal work life or whatever. God's with us. Just pretend like he's your glasses in a way, and you're allowing him to take focus of what your vision is like, that God is with us, and he's holding you upright, and he's gonna keep you from falling. But that can't happen if you don't allow him. You have to give him permission to keep you upright, and to recognize, you know what? I need you, God. I need you, Jesus, to hold me upright. Just help me keep putting one foot in front of the other. So I'm excited about what these E words are going to be. I don't really want to, belabor any of these topics, but they are going to be building blocks upon the other. And I hope that you enjoy what this new E Effect series is going to be. And, catch me next time. Thank you. Y'all have a very blessed day. And just enjoy growing your beautiful people garden like I know you do. So take care. Bye.